What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse ranch no hate. So we've been talking about rumors about the fight with Benavides and David Morrell, which pretty much, Benavides shut down and said that he didn't agree to anything that they were trying to get Mugia. I put the video out about that already. And so his dad, or maybe because this video is going to be shorter, maybe this one might download first. But either way, y'all will see both. And so pretty much this is pretty much Benavides Sr. He's responded to David Morrell for things that he's saying about his son. I'm gonna let him speak, and then I'm just gonna close out with what my thoughts.
Something like that. Just kind of ribbing your son, saying that he's not the Mexican monster. He's not this. He's not that. He's not that tough. I can beat him. He said that if David walked down the street in Cuba, he'll get his shoes taken. You know what I mean? So, what do you have to say about everything that David Morrell has been saying about your son, man?
Well, if David Morrell is watching me, I don't understand what the fuck he says when he tries to talk in English, when he has translators. I think he should fucking talk in Spanish, because I'm just like trying to follow up and see what he says. Don't understand shit what he says. We are the ones that want to fucking get that fight, man. We've been asking for that fight. I've been fucking talking to these people. I talked to his managers, everybody, to make it happen. There comes Ronnie Shields saying that he's not ready. He's not ready, And that guy, he just talks a lot of shit, man, and keeps saying all this shit. Why don't you go and talk to your team and tell them you're ready? Let's make this shit happen, bro. To be honest, that's what we're here for. I give him a lot of respect, for being on the Cuban Olympic team. And he's really good, man. Don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter. He has a lot of experience in amateur. And professional is different, I think he's getting better and better and better. Well, like in about a year or two, I think he's going to get better. And he's going to be a really dangerous fighter. Why not kick his ass right now? I think... right now, David will stop him, But I think that guy just talks a lot of shit. He wants a lot of attention with the media. And that's what it is, bro. Let's make this fucking fight happen. Go talk to your team. Don't put that shit in social media and do all that shit, I mean, at the end of the day, the managers are the ones that make that decision, not him.
Yeah.
So he might want to fight Mike Tyson and talk all that shit, But if you're not ready, bro. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's fucking make that fight happen. Does it make sense? So I think he's watching right now, and if he watches this, shut the fuck up, bro. Go to your team. Let's go, man. This fucking contract is signed already. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Let's make it fucking happen.
In your
Okay.
honest view.
So now this video was made 2 hours ago. Today is June 21st. And so it is now 4:45, in the afternoon. I'm making this video. Now, let me say this, because words get conflicted. Now, they've been trying to make this fight happen, And I'm making this point because you always have people, see, and they start trying to make shit up, Make something more out of something than what it actually is. You heard his father say, what? The contract signed already. Talk to your fucking people. We've been trying to make this fight. Now, here's the thing. You can go back 2 fucking years ago. You understand what I mean? You can go back 2 months ago. And you got different channels saying it's official. David Morrell versus David Benavides. This is not the first time that this has happened. This is not the first time. And so you hearing this from him and him saying the contract signed already, he's like, yo, we've been trying to make this fight. Let's go. So now for the people that's trying to say that, oh, but he already knew he had this. No, he didn't have this fight. And it's obvious. You listen to his father. The fight's not happening with Morrell. So now not only have you heard it from David Benavides, but you heard it from his dad. Sign the fucking contract. So they want the fight. But so not to conflict to when David Benavides Jr. is saying, when Benavides is saying he's he hasn't agreed to anything in terms of him. The terms, whatever the terms may have been, that was not discussed, splits, all that, none of that. But Benavides, okay, their main target was Canelo. It's as simple as that. Bottom line. And you heard him even say in the last video that they're saying, hey, the B side don't send contracts to the A side. Because to wait on Canelo to send a contract to Benavides will have to change his nationality. I'm no longer Mexican. And I have a broken arm and a broken leg, both on the same side. So I'm going to have to fight you with one arm and one leg, basically, stand on one leg. Otherwise, no fight. Let's just be real. So, what I'm going to add to that is just this. I like Morrell as a fighter, man. And like we said, he only has like 9 pro fights. And, with the amateur experience that he has, a lot of amateur fights, great. And that's one of the reasons he's so confident and why he is so good, because he does have a lot of amateur experience. But I'll say this, because I don't respect this from any fighter, and you hear him saying, and I've heard Morrell's people say that they don't think he's ready. I've heard that not yet, not just yet. Okay, if you know that you want the fight and they want the fight, but your team is the holdup, there's no need to try to make noise, because you're saying you're ready, you want the fight. But like he's saying, talk to your team and you decide. You let them know, look, I want this fight, right? You're not the matchmaker, they are, but you let them know that. And until then, shut up. This is what he's saying. I agree if that's the case. And whatever other details that we may not know, I don't know. But if your team is the holdup, there's no reason to talk shit. There's no reason to say you want to fight anybody that you know that your team doesn't want you to fight right now. Because to be honest with you, this has become the trend, the thing to do now. Let's call out fighters. We've been seeing this shit for years now. And it gets to the point where the public just get tired of even talking about it. And you know that, because when you post videos up about certain fighters, the viewership drop because, I don't want to hear about those guys. They might watch just because they hear what you have to say about it. That's it. But overall, there's no interest in certain fighters because against each other until you know for a fact it's happening. And we just get it's way too many fighters jumping up, FaceTiming, jumping up on Zoom or whatever, and they just back and forth talking, but nothing happens. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. I'm down, you down. Hey, let's make it happen. You tell me you win. Sound like a bunch of kids in the playground. Hit me. No, you hit me. You hit me first. No, you hit me first. Like, bro, do you motherfuckers want to fight or no? Simple. So now you hearing it from his dad as well, and I just wanted to put the icing on the cake with this whole situation. So there's no Morrell fight on the table. It's on the table in terms of they want it. Morrell wants it, but Morrell people doesn't want it. So that's the reason for me with this follow-up, the other part of the reason. So you can hear and understand this is what I mean. Because if a fighter, it's not good to just talk, man. And the more you start talking, people start to look at you, start to, hey, man, this guy just talks shit. Like what he's saying. But that's what people start to get, because while you're talking, and if Benavides, especially if he fights Munguia, because Canelo's out, and I don't see him and Charlo fighting. So at the end of the day, it's like for him to get a quality opponent, if Morrell doesn't, and he winds up fighting some meatball, or he's just out of the ring for a long period of time, but you keep talking Morrell's name, then it just looks like, why are you even talking? It's just, man, it's like, too much. And when you look at it, man, we've had some good fights, and we've had fights that we were promised to get that didn't happen. So I mean, you could look at Serrano and Taylor. You can look at, Shields and Marshall, Baumgartner and Mayer. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. You had Shakur Stevenson and what's this cat name? Forget the cat name that he beat, that he got the titles from before he came up to 135. But y'all know what I'm talking about. The one that had the bad tea, drunk some bad tea. I forget his name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You getting ready to get Spence versus Crawford. We hey, just saying, man. Has been some good fights. We had Haney Loma. We get ready to get Marshall versus Franchon. There are some fights out there, but it's just disappointing when it's just so hard to get the fights you really want. The major fights, the real, oh, that's the fight I want type of thing. But yeah, I mean, so hey man, we just have to see what happens. That's all. We just have to see what happens. But yeah, so just looking at, I hope Morrell gets a quality opponent. I remember Caleb Plant said he had an announcement. I don't remember if he ever made the announcement, because I really honestly at this point do not know who Caleb Plant is fighting. I really don't know. And here's the crazy part. What if Morrell ends up fighting Plant? That'd be Darrell Benavides. Even though Darrell was, he's 38, he still has something left. He was putting up a good fight, until he got knocked the fuck out. But yeah. And Morrell, that'd be three, back-to-back tough fights for Plant. And he's desperate for a win. He has to get a win. You can only, nobody wants to become a gatekeeper. You can only go by, I was in good fights for so long if you keep losing them. But, he definitely said he was going to be back up, in a good fight. But I didn't catch who it was. Maybe I'll look into that to see if I missed anything with that. But yeah, man. So there's as of now, there's no, Morrell versus Benavides as of now, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not against that fight, but if his people don't want the fight, and that's why David Benavides said in the last video, that's why he said, my job is just to keep training, stay busy, and try to make the best fights possible. Because why? There's no guarantee he's fighting Morrell, because his people doesn't, think he's ready, and whatever other details we may not know, because he said he's never agreed. When he's saying, I haven't agreed to anything, meaning the deal was on the table, he was a name, but there's other things. So they was trying to make this fight, and like I said, it's not nothing new. I can play videos for you guys where you can hear, matter of fact, give me 1 second. All right, now let me give y'all a perfect example. This is what I mean, and I just put in the algorithms, because I remember seeing certain topics, and like I said, I don't always watch what I see. I just see things. Okay, this is from Dante's Boxing Nation. This is from 10 months ago. It's titled, it just says, breaking news, David Benavides sends David Morrell a contract to fight next. This was 10 months ago. Now let's just hear what Dante had to say.
This guy got me calling him the Mexican monster. Everybody's scared of this guy. I hear you saying you want to fight.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So David Benavides has truly earned that title of the Mexican Monster. David Benavides is one of the most avoided fighters in the sport of boxing today. A lot of fighters, they say that they would fight him, but no one is planning on fighting him next. David Benavides, he wants to fight all of these guys as soon as possible. He doesn't want to wait. David, he wants to replace Canelo Alvarez as the next big Mexican star, and in order for him to do that, he has to beat the names. Just like Andrade and Charlo, they needed Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. But now fighters like Andrade and Charlo, they can fight David Benavides, and they can still get the same type of credit that they would have gotten if they would have beat Canelo Alvarez, because David Benavides is the most avoided fighter. He's the most dangerous fighter at 168. I'm not saying the win would have been as big you know, if they were to beat Canelo Alvarez before Bivol did it, but it would definitely catapult their career if one of them would have moved up to 168 to beat the Mexican monster David Benavides. That clip I just played for you guys, that was Jamal Charlo talking to Mike Tyson, explaining why he's not fighting David Benavides right now. Jamal said his value is too low right now.
Benavides, would you fight him?
I fight him for sure.
Yeah. Then why you not getting
said he fight anybody. He ready.
I'm just really trying to get to let him get to whenever he says Benavides sent the contract to Morrell.
I just think his value is low. It's not worth as much as
God damn,
I'd rather... Listen, guys.
That's,
the only
I
way
just,
it
you know,
makes sense
I
to
never
say
saw this
something
video
like
before,
that
but I remember
is
it,
if
like I
Jamal
said.
Charlo is going to be fighting against Canelo Alvarez next. If you're not fighting against Canelo Alvarez, then that would mean that Jamal would have to be fighting someone who is valued more
Then Benavides, exactly. I agree with that.
This is the exact reason why Jamal said he's not taking that fight right now. You see, it can't beat Majestulecki because that fighter has a very low value, according to Jamal Charlo's logic. And understand,
and he has
guys,
like 30 fights.
Jamal Charlo, he doesn't fight at 168, where David Benavides
He only has
fights.
like 2
He
KOs.
fights at 160. But the problem is, Jamal, he put more pressure on himself to move up and fight David Benavides when he initiated the challenge.
True.
He was the first person to start mentioning Benavides' name. So once again, the only
All right, I really didn't want to
way
hear
it
all of this
makes
though.
sense
I just want to
for you
hear
not to be fighting
the part
David
where he says,
Benavides
but that's what the video
is
was
if your
titled.
next opponent is someone of a higher value. If you're fighting
But I
against
agree
a
with what he's
bigger
saying.
name that's going to get you paid more than a David Benavides fight would pay you. And then you have Demetrius Andrade, who used to be arguably the biggest boogeyman in the sport of boxing. Well, he just announced that he's going to be moving up to 168.
And still,
He's the WBO middleweight champion right now.
Canelo
so moving up to
won't give him
168 was supposed to automatically make him the mandatory at 168 for Canelo Alvarez's WBO belt. For some reason, the WBO, they ordered Demetrius Andrade to fight Zach Parker to become Canelo Alvarez's mandatory. He was scheduled to take on that fight, but he pulled out of that fight. Demetrius, he said he had an injury. Andrade, he went live and he answered some questions. Matter of fact, I have the video. I just uploaded it. It's on my channel. So watch it if you guys missed it because he talks about a lot of different things. But in that
I'm hoping he
live
mentioned
feed,
anything
actually
about
said,
Benavides sends the contract to David Morrell, because that's what his
Then
video
he
was
said
titled.
He's taking a risk going
And I've never
overseas
seen it, so I don't know
fight
where to
this
go
guy,
to.
Zach Parker. This is what he just said in this live video that he did. And then when he was asked about fighting against David Benavides, he said a fight like that takes time to make. And then he started to call out Chris Eubank. But the fact that Demetrius Andrade is a free agent right now, the David Benavides fight would be a very easy fight to make, and it is way bigger than a Chris Eubank fight. Now, the Chris Eubank fight would be a great segue into taking on the David Benavides fight, but when it comes to comparing opponents, the Eubanks fight doesn't come close to how big a Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavides fight would be. You're talking about two undefeated champions, at least the middleweight champion versus the super middleweight champion, boogeyman versus boogeyman. It gets no bigger than that, unless Demetrius Andrade is getting the Canelo Alvarez fight. I still believe Demetrius Andrade, he will take that fight if push comes to shove, but for some reason he definitely made it seem like he was more interested in fighting Chris Eubank.
Okay, y'all. I don't know if he ever mentions that. I'm just going by what his video was titled. Okay, so that way y'all can look at it yourself if you want. Okay, 2 months ago, Dante's Boxing Nation, he has a channel, a video on his channel that says big news. David Benavides signs contract to fight Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, Morrell, and Manuel and Char. That's what it says. I'm not gonna play that video because I've never seen any of these videos. I do just remember like seeing, like titles like that. And this is from 2 months ago. You understand what I'm saying? So nothing's going on between Demetrius Andrade and Benavides. So even for his name to come up, this was from 2 months ago. So this is all on Dante's channel. again, I don't, yeah, I don't really watch these guys, man. So, as once in a while I might see something. Usually somebody like see something and tell me about it. Like, yo, check out such and such video real quick, and you get a chance, and I'll, check, look, see what they talking about. But yeah, this is what I'm saying, guys. Like this stuff, a lot of times it's not something that it just like two guys' name pop up and then all of a sudden fresh rivalry. No, it's been a long time, Morrell is not a really popular guy right now, but just saying, like, hey. Matter of fact, okay, so right here, now I'm not gonna watch it, but I see Showbiz the adult, because this is the algorithm. It just says breaking. Benavides versus Morrell agreed, and that was from yesterday. So yeah, my friend that sent me that was I didn't think he was lying, but yeah. So he said he got it from his channel, but this is an algorithm. I'm not typing anything in. I'm just using my finger to slide up and down on my screen. And yeah. So even Showbiz the adult got that. There's a picture of Morrell and Benavides and Showbiz making his weird ass yelling like he's yelling or something. But yeah, that's what it says. Benavides versus Morrell agreed. And what was I telling you guys anyway, man? Like, until you get a date in the venue, until you get anything where there's something saying that, like a fight is actually happening, it's booked, the venue, everything, you never know what can change, man. So, and it's not always that somebody's lying. Got a bunch of liars that do come out here saying a whole bunch of nonsense just to get, views and likes. Yeah, just, it's one of these things, man, where, just giving the boxing news. In fact, okay, it's me scrolling up and down from a month ago. There's a video titled Antonio Tarver tells Benavides to stop chasing Canelo, fight Morrell. Yeah. Charlo and others. Yeah. And I agree with this kind of stuff. This is what I mean, man. It's the type of thing where everybody want that lottery fight, man. And a lot of these guys have not had any super fights at all. Any real legacy fights at all. So your legacy, every fight contributes to your legacy. Your legacy is what it is. But in terms of elite fighter, like legacy status, a lot of them haven't even done that yet, but they're trying to get a lottery fight with a big name fighter to the point where if that person is avoiding you, you have to try your best to get the fights with the best fighters possible. It's not as easy as it sounds because everybody has to want it. Because that way, if you are eliminating all these guys, man, and fighters had it much tougher back in the day because you fought. You fought. There was no, I don't want to fight him. Let me fight this. You fought, man. So at the end of the day, it's just like, if you are in that position where I beat him, and him, why would you want to fight any of them? Come beat me, right? I beat them. You come see me. All in the same, this is from 6 months ago. It's from Dante's Boxing Nation. It's finally Canelo versus David Morrell. Fight will be ordered at the WBA convention, according to former ESPN. I guess it's more, but I'm not. See, this is what I'm talking about, yo. And this is from 6 months ago. From 6 months ago, they're talking. He's saying that a fight will be ordered. I'm reading it again. Finally, Canelo versus David Morrell fight will be ordered at WBA convention, according to former ESPN. I guess, I don't know, somebody affiliated with them. He says formerly affiliated with them. That was from 6 months ago. What has happened between David Morrell and Canelo Alvarez? Nothing. So, yeah, just saying, man, from 7 months ago, there's a channel, somebody calls himself Maestro A. It's a short video. It's titled David Morrell Jr. isn't concerned about Benavides and Plant fighting after easiest fight ever. So, I mean, these guys' names have been linked. This is what I'm saying. It's not like it's something so new, but yeah, man. A fight hype video. It's from 7 months ago. David Benavides sends David Morrell excited message. Says knockout of your boss, some weird name. doesn't scare me or whatever. Yeah, Bossy Nully or some weird name. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, whatever. But yeah, just saying. So this is what we get. This is what we get. So yeah, Aries is not going to tell you no bullshit. So yeah, like I said, man, I just see what I see, but I'm not going to speak on something unless I feel the news is coming from a trusted source. But if we find out that it wasn't true, it wasn't true. Right? But you see the receipts. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.